Game 7, one game, winner take all. The Canadiens have been here before. They've gone on the road and they've beaten an elite opponent. Now they have to do it again. This time, the Canadiens will look to do it after the embarrassment of an 8-3 blowout loss at home at the Bell Center on Saturday night. Oliver Kapanen makes his return to the lineup, replacing Joe Veleno. No other changes to the Canadiens lineup. Jakub Dobeš starts in net for the Habs, while the Sabres switch back to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen after he came in relief of Alex Lyon and led the Sabres to victory in Game 6. It was a very slow and disjointed start to this one, and honestly, I kind of liked that for the Canadiens. Montreal got the first chances of the game on a wrister from the point by Carrier, then an opportunity for a rebound by Oliver Kapanen. Not grade A chances, but at least putting early pressure on Buffalo. The Sabres don't have that same quick start they've had in the first minutes of every game lately, and it's actually Montreal who gets the early jump. Josh Anderson and Alexandre Texier worked a puck free and behind the Sabres net. Texier sent it up high to Caden Gooley, who was creeping into the high slot. Gooley put one on net and it was deflected off of the skate of Philippe Danault and by Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, giving the Habs a 1-0 lead 4.5 minutes into Game 7. For just the second time in the series, the Canadiens score first. The play was pretty even after the opening goal, with Montreal and Buffalo both threatening. Hudson had a partial break that was stopped by Luukkonen. Slafkovsky had a backhand try that didn't work. Dobeš came up with a monstrous save on Jack Quinn, spreading out and keeping the pad down on the ice to block the attempt to stuff the puck home. It wasn't only Dobeš coming up with big stops. Lane Hudson had a great play to break up a 2-on-1 before the Canadiens had the best chance of the game since that first goal. Cole Caulfield was the beneficiary of a mid-air pass from Nick Suzuki. Caulfield had not one but two chances in the slot. Luukkonen somehow managed to get the glove on both tries. However, in a mad scramble to clear the puck out, Zach Benson put the puck directly over the glass and sent the Canadiens to the power play. The Canadiens' power play controls possession of the puck. They only lose the zone a few times and they're very quick to get back in the Sabres' end with the puck. A few one-timers get put wide by Suzuki and Bolduc before Nick Suzuki makes an absolutely incredible pass behind his back from the corner, finding Zachary Bolduc all alone at the face-off circle. Bolduc unleashes a rocket of a one-timer that went top shelf. Luukkonen never had a chance. At 14.5 minutes into Game 7, the Montreal Canadiens are up 2-0 on the Buffalo Sabres. Alexandre Texier breaks up a play at the blue line and finds himself all alone on a breakaway. He makes a great move, but Luukkonen makes a terrific save. The Habs defense continues to come up big, including Alexandre Carrier, who had an incredible slide to break up a 2-on-1 that looked like it was going to lead to a certain goal. Both teams maintained very physical play and ended the period with some big hits, and Montreal has 40 minutes to go to try to put this one away. One more goal would go a long way to relieve the anxiety Habs fans are feeling across the country. The second period got underway and the Sabres were really doing their best, but it was the Canadiens' team defense that stood out early on. The Sabres did have zone time, possession, they put shots towards the net, but there was so little in terms of open space. The Habs knew they could let the Sabres press, tire themselves out, be patient, and wait for the chances to pounce on the counterattack. Now, Carrier got called for a 4-minute double minor for high sticking, but the refs reviewed it and they confirmed it was Benson's stick that caught his own man, so they took the penalty off the board. No power play for Buffalo. No matter who was on the ice for Montreal, all 5 Canadian skaters routinely sold out and committed 100% to the defensive effort. The result was the Sabres trying desperately to get the puck to the net from distance, from tight angles, and forcing plays. Dobeš made saves, but he wasn't being relied upon to single-handedly bail the Canadiens out of every offensive chance for the Sabres. The counterattacking was effective too. Josh Anderson had another breakaway for the Canadiens, but they again weren't able to find the critical third goal of the game. Anderson put the puck over the net and slammed hard into the post, but I love the way the Canadiens are committing to team defense, being patient and still keeping an eye out for offensive breakouts without being careless. Suzuki and Caulfield both had looks shortly after, and I have to say that despite allowing 2 goals in the first, Luukkonen may actually have been Buffalo's best player to this point. He had been really impressive. The Sabres continued to press. The time in the Habs' end began to mount, however, and it seemed the chances for the Sabres were slowly getting more and more dangerous. They were wearing down the Canadiens' defense. Dobeš made a pair of massive saves in close, but the issue of failed zone clearings once again came back to bite the Canadiens. This time it was Josh Anderson who missed an opportunity on a breakout. That misplay allowed Buffalo to maintain possession in the Habs zone. Finally, it led to a loose puck coming free to Mattias Samuelsson at the top of the faceoff circles. Dobeš had no idea where the puck was. Samuelsson was able to put the puck through a maze of bodies off of the back of Jordan Greenway and into the back of the net, cutting the Canadiens' lead in half and scoring the crucial third goal of the game. The missed opportunities the Canadiens have had to extend the lead to 3 loom large as the Sabres draw to within striking distance, now just one shot away from bringing the game to a tie. I really liked the way the Habs had played up until that point, but once the Sabres got that first goal, it seemed as if they started gripping their sticks that much more tightly, and Buffalo really poured it on in the final minutes. For every one Canadiens chance, it seemed like Buffalo held the puck in the Canadian zone for 2 minutes and directed 4 or 5 shots on target of their own. And in the final minute, it was Jakub Dobeš's turn to save the day. He came up with some monstrous saves, including one in tight on Tage Thompson that saw a wild scramble ensue with bodies flying everywhere. Montreal managed to survive the push and made it into the intermission ahead 2-1. Buffalo was too often allowed to just walk across the blue line way too easily. Montreal was being far too passive by the end of the period. So we move on to the third period, and the early signs weren't good for the Habs. Deno took a high-sticking penalty in the offensive zone, and a power play that went 4 for 6 on Saturday night gets a chance to even things up. Credit to the Habs penalty kill though, they did a phenomenal job. Lots of clears, one nice save by Dobeš, and a whole bunch of frustrated Buffalo Sabres skaters. The Habs then have a bit of an offensive push in an attempt to restore their 2-goal advantage, highlighted by a Mike Matheson shot from distance that went off the crossbar and out. The Sabres followed that up with a long chance of their own that Dobeš was just able to swipe off the goal line. Zucker charged the net as Dobeš did so, caught the Canadiens netminder in the head, sending him sprawling, and now I won't lie, Dobeš definitely put a little bit of mustard on that, but there's no way a penalty shouldn't have been called on Zucker for goalie interference. You have to protect the goalie there. And shortly thereafter, off of a face-off in the Habs end, it was Rasmus Dahlin getting the puck with space, firing a shot stick side on Jakub Dobeš, and tying this one up at 2. The Canadiens tried to operate under the idea that 2 goals could be enough to win this game, but it wasn't. The Sabres tie this one up, and the dread begins to set in for Habs fans everywhere. The shot totals are becoming more and more lopsided, and the game is beginning to draw too many parallels to Game 7 in Tampa Bay. The missed opportunities to go up 3-0 early loom even larger now, as the Habs have 13 minutes left in the third period to try and find a way to win this one. Now the Canadiens do wake up, the game does tighten up, and the Habs show that they have some offense on their sticks after Buffalo ties it. The chances are about even from that point on, but Buffalo continues to dominate the puck possession. Montreal catches a break on what may have been a quick whistle by the official, but the play was blown dead and the goal didn't count. The game stayed tied. The chances continued to be about even. The Habs would get a look off the rush, Buffalo would come back down the ice, maintain possession, cycle the puck, create a look, and that cycle would restart. It didn't inspire confidence for Habs fans, as despite the chances being about even, it seemed like Buffalo always had the puck on their sticks. With less than 3 minutes to go, Josh Anderson won a race to a puck with some incredible hustle, found himself on a partial breakaway, but didn't have time to do much more than shove the puck on net. Dahlin alertly swiped the loose puck out of midair. Dobeš made one more pad save on Thompson, and the game tightened up even more. We make it to the end of regulation, knotted up at 2, and we get the spectacle of overtime in a Game 7. We go to overtime, and early on, Benson has a really good chance to end this one, but Dobeš slams the door shut. The Canadiens then took control of the majority of play from that point. Lots of chances, many going just wide, so it didn't look like the Canadiens were controlling play on the shot counter, but they were doing a really good job of preventing much of anything from the Sabres. Anderson ended up hitting the post twice on the same shift. It seemed like it wasn't going to be the Canadiens' night when Tage Thompson got free on a 2-on-1. He worked the puck around a sprawling Noah Dobson right in tight on Dobeš, but Jake Evans managed to tie him up. Dolbech came up with another big save to keep the Canadiens' hopes alive, and they survived a big scare. Slavkovsky and Demidov both had looks that couldn't get through. Then the Sabres pounced on a loose puck in front of Dolbech, nearly jamming it in, but Dolbech was once again up to the task. The Sabres started to hem the Habs in. There were faceoffs in the Canadian zone until finally, Carrier spotted Newhook streaking down the left side. Newhook cut to the middle of the ice, pulled the puck back, fired a shot towards target, and scored to give the Canadiens back-to-back Game 7 victories in the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs. Now looking at the replay, just before Newhook let the shot go, you can see the puck rises onto its edge. It alters the trajectory of the shot as it sailed towards the target, and whereas normally the puck would rise to meet Luukkonen's glove, it took a sudden dip, it caught the gap between Luukkonen's glove and pad, beating the Sabres goaltender and sending the Canadiens on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Alex Newhook becomes just the second player in NHL history to score multiple Game 7 winners in the same postseason, joining Nathan Horton of the Boston Bruins. It's back-to-back series winners for Newhook, his 6th goal of the series, and what an unbelievable story he has been this postseason. Montreal wins. The Habs are going to face the Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh on Thursday night with a chance to make the Stanley Cup Finals on the line. Whoever would have predicted this just a few short years ago when this team was finishing bottom 5 in the NHL 3 years in a row, but they've come out on the other side, and the rebuild, while not complete, has progressed to the point where Habs fans can dream and wonder, what if? Could this really be happening? They're halfway to the ultimate goal of 16 wins. Now the question is, can they figure out the Carolina Hurricanes and earn wins 9 through 12? What a game, what a series. There are so many talking points, so many highs and lows. Jakub Dolbech was incredible yet again. Nobody blamed him for the disaster on Saturday night. There wasn't a whiff of anyone suggesting moving away from the rookie goaltender, and he becomes the second rookie goalie in NHL history to win multiple Game 7s on the road in one postseason. The other, Ken Dryden, the man whose number is on the back of every single Montreal Canadiens player's helmet. The contributions from the depth players, once again in this game, what a story. Goals by Philippe Danault, Zachary Bolduc, Alex Newhook. If someone had told you that you would need goals from all three of those guys in one game to win a Game 7, you'd never have believed it possible. But here we are. The Montreal Canadiens continue to surpass expectations, overcome adversity, and defeat every obstacle placed in front of them. The Habs win in 7. We're on to Carolina. Go Habs, go! Anyway, you guys, that's going to be it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And have a great night, guys.
You know what's coming, right?
Well, you leave it! The show goes on! Go on!
Shot now. Good job, boys. Way to stick together and let's look forward.